Hello, and welcome back to the original Larry D's Food for Thought. Today we will be reading out of the Old King James Bible, as usual. We'll be reading in the Old Testament and the New Testament, to the law and to the testimony. Here a little and there a little. Okay? We also will be going over a few scriptures today concerning the title. Now, it's a kind of a long title, but it is Keep the Lord's Sabbath day, the seventh day of the week, for it is a sign between God and his people. Keep the Lord's Sabbath day, the seventh day of the week, for it is a sign between God and his people. Okay? Now, I'm going to share these with you right quick here, these scriptures, and you can jot them down if you like. Yeah, people. The Lord thought so highly of his Sabbath day that he even put it in the Ten Commandments, even the eighth day, the eighth commandment. And he intend for us to keep it. Because all through the book he had it written. Keep his Sabbath day. Keep it holy and don't pollute it. Okay. We're gonna show you how you be polluting the Lord's Sabbath day. But he said also that it is a sign between God and his people. Okay. So now, if you want to be God's people, hey, that's a sign between you and him if you keep his Sabbath day. Now, all these people keeping Sunday. Okay. Don't you think that's a sign between them and somebody else? We're gonna show you that. I'm gonna tell you something, man. All you have to do is put on your thinking cap. You'll see. And keeping that Sunday thing, man, that's a sign between you and somebody else. All right. And I don't think you're gonna like that. But anyway, like the Lord had it written, you worship, you know not what. Okay. It's like he told that Samaritan woman at the well, man. He said, hey, you worship, you know not what. But salvation is of the Jews. Okay. But anyway, I'm gonna stop sharing these and we're going to go ahead and get started with these scriptures here and see if we can get just a tad bit of understanding today. All right. Now, we're going to start this in Exodus. Everybody know what Exodus 20th chapter, you know the commandments are there, but we're going to start with this. Okay. I'm going to show you just a few. Okay. And we're going to start reading at verse 3, and it reads, Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Okay. So made that plain and simple. You shouldn't have no other God for him. Don't serve no other gods, but you're keeping that Sunday thing. But watch that. Okay. And that's God of Sunday. All right. Which is no God. All right. But verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. Okay. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor the stranger that is within thy gates. Okay, so now we're talking about everybody here now. Okay. Verse 11, for in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it, made it holy. Okay? So, he put it here in the commandments. He told you what to do. You keep those, there's great reward. Okay? But let's move on. Excuse me. Let's go over here to hmm, let's go over here to Leviticus right quick. I'm on in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, and I want to read one verse here. All right. Leviticus 23 and verse 3. And it reads, 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest and holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings. That's everywhere. Okay. Now, like he said, 6 days you work, but don't do no work on his Sabbath day. Okay. If you don't have to, explain it to you in a few minutes. But hey, he said, keep a holy convocation. What is that? A holy gathering. Go to church on the Sabbath day. Okay. But let's move on. Let's go back to Exodus right quick. Let's go back to Exodus. We're going to Exodus 31. I'm going to show you something right here, right quick. See what the Lord had to say here. All right. Now he was talking to Israel. He had told Moses talk to Israel, and he was the Lord was at Mount Horeb or Mount Sinai, whichever one we call it, same. He gave him his commandments, and he told Moses to tell the people this right here. Now, yeah, Exodus 31, and we're gonna start reading at verse 12, and it reads. Now, wait a minute. Let me explain something first of all. I say Moses was talking to Israel, Lord, or the Lord was talking to Israel. He did that because he chose Israel as his people. Okay, to teach the rest of the sons and daughters of Adam. Now, we'll clarify this. I ain't talking about them Israelis over there that's occupying the land of Israel. Okay, not talking about them. I have to explain that because I got some kickback on that one time. I said they just didn't understand. Okay, I'm talking about the true Israelites. Okay, 9 tribes, it's all over the world, and then the 3 tribes have been brought over here to America. Okay, those are the Israelites I'm talking about. And those are the Israelites the Lord had Moses talk to. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna clarify that so you get a clear understanding on it. All right, we're gonna start reading at verse 12. And it reads, And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, Verily, verily, my Sabbath ye shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, plural, with an S, okay, that ye may know that I am the Lord that doeth sanctify you. Okay, excuse me. Verse 14. Ye shall keep the Sabbath, therefore, for it is holy unto you. Everyone that defileth it shall surely be put to death. For whosoever doeth any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. Okay, so I want to say, hey, do any work, but this is the thing. God is a reasonable God. He said he even had it written. Come, let us reason together. Now, if your boss man tell you you got to work, then that's what you got to do because you got to feed your family. You don't want to get fired, right? So, but Lord understand that. But he also know if you ain't got to work, you going to go on your own and say, hey, well, I'm going to work, try to make this little extra money. It don't work that way. Okay? So, keep that in mind. All right? All right, verse 15. 6 days shall work be done, but in the seventh is the Sabbath of rest, holy to the Lord. Whosoever doeth any work in the Sabbath day, he shall surely be put to death. Okay, verse 17. It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. Okay, so you join your hand to the Lord. Okay, no matter who you are, even a stranger, the sign will be between you and God forever too. Okay. All right. Excuse me. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed. Okay. Now, let's move on. Let's go over here to Isaiah right quick. Let me show you something here. Oh, the Lord was talking about, you say, well, he talking to Israel. He ain't talking to the rest of the people on the planet. We'll see. Okay. All right, going to Isaiah. Where we at? Let's see. Isaiah 56. 57. Isaiah 56, and we're going to start reading at verse 1. Excuse me. Oh, why my throat bothering me? This thing sinuses bothering me. Sorry about that. Okay. Isaiah 56, and start reading at verse 1. Thus saith the Lord, keep ye judgment and do justice, for my salvation is near to come, and my righteousness to be revealed. Blessed is the man. Man, he didn't say blessed is the Israelite. He said, blessed is the man that doeth this, and the son of man that layeth hold on it, that keepeth the Sabbath from polluting it. Okay, and keepeth his hand from doing any evil. All right. Now, let's see. Verse 6. Also, now listen to this. Also, the sons of the stranger. Who the stranger? Now we talking about everybody here, ain't we? All right. Also, the sons of the stranger that join themselves to the Lord to serve him and to love the name of the Lord, to be his servant, everyone that keepeth the Sabbath from polluting it. Keep saying that, people. Uh, and taketh hold of my covenant, even let's see what the Lord will do for you. And even them will I bring to my holy mountain and make them joyful in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings and their sacrifices shall be accepted upon mine altar, for mine house shall be called an house of prayer for all people. Okay, you got that? For all people, not just the Jews or just the Israelites, but for all people. Okay, now let me show you something else here. Now you talking about saluting the Lord's Sabbath day. Show you something here. All right, going to Isaiah 58. Excuse me, and start reading at verse 13. And it reads, if thou turn thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of the Lord, honorable, and shall honor him, not doing thine own ways, nor finding thine own pleasure, nor speaking thine own words. Then shalt thou delight thyself in the Lord, and I will cause thee to ride upon high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father, for the mouth of the Lord has spoken it. So don't be, polluting the Lord's Sabbath day, doing your own pleasure, everything you want to do, watching football, washing your cars, cleaning your house. I mean, doing all things, running your mouth, talking about everything under the sun, but doing all these things, the things you like to do on Lord's Sabbath day, turn away from that. Turn your foot away from that stuff, man. Don't do it. Okay. And Lord will, what do you say right here? He will bless you. Okay. Good. Let's move on. Let's go over here right quick. I'm gonna throw this in here right quick. I want you to see this. Excuse me. This is on the Ecclesiastes, the 5th chapter. Start reading at verse 1. And it reads, keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of God, go to church on the Sabbath, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with thy mouth, and let not thine heart be hasty to utter anything before God. That's it. For God is in heaven, and thou upon earth, therefore let thy word be few. So don't go in there running your mouth about everything under the sun, with your mouth running like a 460 mile per hour or 460 horsepower motor. Okay? Control that tongue. Let your words be few. You got things to talk about. Okay. It's church business or the word of God. Okay. All that simple. All right. Let's move on. Now, everybody say, well, okay, we keep the Sabbath day and we keep Sunday. Let's see. I'm gonna say something. The very one that came here and gave you the Sabbath day when he was here, even the Lord, let's see what he did. Okay, when he was here. Going to Luke, the 4th chapter. And we are going to start reading at verse let's see, it's on Luke 4. Oh, okay. We'll start reading at verse 14. And let's see what Jesus did, okay? Now, if he did, he expect us to do it. He told us to do it, all right? All right, that's Luke 4:14. And it reads, and Jesus returned in the power of the Spirit into Galilee, and there went out a fame of him through all the regions round about. And he taught in their synagogues, he taught in their churches, being glorified of all. And he came to Nazareth, where he had been brought up, and as his custom was. What is a custom? That means something you do all the time, right? And as his custom was, he went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day, went into the church on the Sabbath day and stood up for to read. So Jesus did it. Therefore, he told us to do it. He expects us to do it too. Okay. Now, everybody want to talk about Mr. Paul. They love his writing. Okay. They love Paul. So now let's see what he did. Him and his company did. Let's see now. Let's check this out. We're going to Acts the 13th chapter. And we'll start reading at verse 13. And it reads, now, when Paul and his company loosed from Patmos, they came to Perga in Pamphylia, and John departed from them, returned to Jerusalem. But when they departed from Perga, they came to Antioch and Pisidia, and went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day and sat down. And they went into the church on the Sabbath day too. All right. So even Paul and his people, his company, they kept the Sabbath day. Okay. And they knew that there was a sign between them and God. Okay. And you need to know that too. Because I'm going to tell you something. Let's go check this out. Let's go over here. Let's go back to Isaiah right quick. I want to show you this. You know, I would say that's a sign between him and you, him and his people. So you want to keep Sunday, you serve another God. He said, that's I have no other gods before me. Okay. But let me show you something here. Now, go in Isaiah 14, start reading at verse 12, and it reads, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? Now, who was Lucifer? Lucifer? Lucifer was the light bringer. That means the truth. He used to bring the truth. Well, he was kicked out of heaven. Now, he done fallen to earth, but he was kicked out. All right, him and his all his evil angels. Okay, O Lucifer, son of the morning, how art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, he said in his mind, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. What? He think he gonna do that? Look, I will sit upon I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the most high. Ooh, this cat want to be like God, huh? But let's see what 15 say. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. Okay. But he said he will be like the most high. So now, if the Lord got his Sabbath day, Saturday, the seventh day of the week, you think Satan got himself a Sabbath day? Put on your thinking caps. What day you think that might be? Hmm? You have to ask yourself that question. You really get in this book, do some research, you're going to see, hey, you worship you know not what. Telling you. All right. Keep that in mind. But let's go in. Let's go to this last place right quick. Let me show you this. So you keep the Lord's Sabbath day. That will be a sign between you and the true and living God. And let's see what the end results will be if you do this. All right. Revelation 22 and verse 14, and it reads, blessed are they. Blessed are they that do his commandments. He had it written. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Okay, that's one of the commandments. But you got to keep them all. Okay, but he said, blessed are they that do his commandment, that they might have right to the tree of life and may enter in through the gates into the city. What city? That city that John saw coming down out of heaven from God, adorned like a bride to her husband. Okay. And that holy city will be on this earth in Jerusalem. And if you expect to walk in it, hey, you got to keep the Lord's commandments. And remember that Sabbath day, for it is a sign between God and his people. Okay. Now, with that food for thought, they're going to need scriptures and words throughout the course of the day. And until next time, peace.